Hello everyone, this is Discounts France. Welcome to our weekly news reading channel. Every week I'll be reading you news from different French news media platforms. I won't exactly read the whole articles. It'll be more like a summary of a news topic and some related background in it. So I'll link all my resources below in the description box if you would like to find out more. This week's topics are the SMIC and wage rising, Apple's new product release event, and Australia breaking submarine contract with France. Let's begin. The first topic is wage rising. According to the news released this week, the minimum wage in France will increase for the second time this year. On October 1st, the SMIC will increase again in application of the automatic adjustment formula. More than 2.2 million private sector employees and hundreds of thousands of civil servants will benefit from it. The gross hourly minimum wage will increase from 10.25 euro to just under 10.50 euros. The gross monthly minimum wage will increase from 1,554.58 euros to 1,589.38 euros. On the basis of 35 hours per week, the monthly increase will be nearly 35 euros. Here is the historical SMIC table from Les Echos. As we can see, it's a rare situation that SMIC changes twice a year, and it will therefore increase by nearly 50 euro in total this year. Regarding to how the minimum wage is increased, I'll link a more detailed article below in the description box for your information. In this year's case, the increases are mainly due to the rise in inflation. According to INSEE report, in August 2021, the consumer price index rose by 0.6% over 1 month. The price of manufactured goods rebounded sharply by 1.1%, while it was minus 1.8% in July, linked to the end of the summer sales. The price of food accelerated by 0.7%, which was 0.1% in July, and prices of tobacco were stabilized from the decrease in the previous months. The price of services increased by 0.4%, which was 0.7% in July, and those of energy increased by 0.6%, which was 2.2% in July. The core inflation grew up to 1.5% in August compared to last year, which was 0.4% in July. With the increase in price and inflation, people raises concerns about the difficulty in purchasing power, which also raises the demand of wage increasing for individuals. Last week, we talked about the result of the survey regarding to French people's concern. Purchasing power was just ranked below delinquency. Check out more French concerns in upper right corner. Since the end of August, the issue of salary rising has been increasingly featured in economic and political debate. And from earlier this month, I saw various articles writing about the demand of wage increasing. For example, earlier this week, Le Figaro says that the economy is recovering from the epidemic and going back to its track, and unemployment is returning to its pre-crisis level, pointing towards 8.1%. As the article from Le Monde mentioned, employees are claiming their share. Since this summer, the recruitment tension has been rising up. It's putting bosses under pressure and slowing down the recovery. At the end of August, the Minister of Economy, Bruno Le Maire, mentioned one of the solutions are salary rising. However, with the release of SMIC increase, the government is said has closed the doors to any additional help. Despite that, each year, some employee unions, such as the CTG, which claims a minimum wage of €1,800 gross, ask government to go beyond the automatic increase. The last non-legal calendar boost dates back to July 2012, the day after the election of socialist François Hollande as President of the Republic. As his campaign promise, the boost went up to 2%, covering 1.4% inflation and leaving 0.6% extra boost. So this year, there are still extra expectations for salary increase from different parties, and there are debates and negotiations still going on. For example, the Prime Minister Jean Castex has called the opening of branch negotiation in industries including the hotel and catering and agro-food industries. I'll follow up on news for any interesting updates on this topic in following weeks. And that's it for the first topic. The second topic is more of my personal interest. Each year, Apple's new model launching event is always exciting for those who love high-tech news. French time this Tuesday evening, Apple released this year's launching event. The event starts with a high-resolution film that combines landscape, city views, and people singing and dancing in smooth shots. The introduction of Apple's new release product begins with Apple TV+, iPad, Apple Watch, and iPhone 13. Briefly speaking, the change for new iPad and Apple Watch are exterior design, higher performance, cameras, and upgraded system with new functions and panel designs. As for the new iPhone 13s, the best selling point, in my opinion, is the A15 bionic chip. These are the official numbers for the A15 chip with its 6-core CPU and 4-core GPU. The new features of iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro are mostly rely on the chip's high-speed performance. Its high-function neural engine supports apps like Peak Visor. And SMIC. One of the other changes on the new iPhones is the camera. Here are the numbers for the new iPhone cameras. For pictures, it basically makes your photo looks better in terms of colors and lights. But there's a new feature this year that has never been found on iPhone or other smartphones. It's the cinematic mode for making videos. This mode allows users to apply the technique called rack focus. It's, in simple words, to shift focus when filming. On iPhone 13 Pro, this function was more developed to suit the needs of professional filmmakers and allows them to make clips like this without heavy equipment. Lastly, I have screenshotted the new price series of the new and old iPhones. Unfortunately, this price does not apply inside the EU zone. Inside the EU zone, the price instantly increased around $100. These are the prices in France. Maybe you should consider buying an iPhone and sell it to your friend who lives in EU if you are in the UK or US or any other countries sell iPhone at official prices. But for those who respect the customs very much, I'm making a video of me ordering iPhone 13 mini in France at the price of €809. Back to more serious news. Australia breaks the contract of the century with France, causing diplomatic crisis between Paris and Washington. This week, Australia breaks the contract with France concerning the sale of 12 submarines which were to be delivered within the framework of an intergovernmental agreement and an industrial contract sealed in 2019 for 50 years. On Wednesday, September 15th, the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom announced an unprecedented strategic partnership. It allows Australia to achieve a huge technological and military leap with the construction of nuclear-powered submarines, a leap that implies a rare sharing of American technology. The contract was worth 50 billion Australian dollars. The French Naval Group was selected in 2016 by Canberra to supply 12 submarines, divided from future French nuclear submarines Barracuda. The first was expected to deliver in 2030. The value of this contract is now estimated at 90 billion Australian dollars, which is 56 billion euros, due to the cost overruns and currency effects. Breaking the contract caused a huge loss for France. It also causes diplomatic crisis between Paris and Washington. Joe Biden referred the partnership with Australia and the UK as a historic step. As to the breaking of Australia and France contract, Boris Johnson said that this agreement did not aim to oppose any other power. And the American and British leaders referred this partnership is for the peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. And the impact goes on further. For Australia, breaking contracts will mean penalties and loss of certain jobs. To other Indo-Pacific countries like China, it means more pressure on their military forces. I'll bring further developments on this topic in following weeks. Now, before we say goodbye, here are the weathers in France this weekend. In Paris, there might be shower during this weekend, and temperature will vary from 15 to 23 degrees Celsius. So that's it for today's news reading. Any thoughts? Please leave your comments below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll bring more videos to you. See you next time. Until then, have a good week.